Hello my darlings and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Miranda and I am the Enchantress of Avalon. So today's video is a fun one as I'm going to be discussing why my 7-month-long online class, the Melusine Mysteries, might be a good fit for you. And then I'm going to also read my original poem, which is entitled Living in Devotion to the Great Goddess Melusine. And it was recently published on the Tor Stone, which is the Sisterhood of Avalon's online magazine. So I wanted to share a reading of it here with you as I thought it was very fitting when talking about my class and my work as a priestess to Melusine. So let's just jump right on in. All right, so my 7-month-long class, the Melusine Mysteries, is an online class devoted to studying the legends, the arcane wisdom, the occult knowledge of the fairy queen and mermaid goddess of Avalon, Melusine. And over the course of the 7 months, I take my students on a journey through Melusine's story by studying her 7 aspects. 1 aspect per month, obviously. And we delve deep into that aspect of her story. We delve deeply into that energy held within Melusine, as she is this very great complex Celtic goddess and fairy queen. And we also are delving into the archetype that is connected with that particular aspect. Because like all great and complex goddesses, Melusine doesn't hold just one archetype, but many. Just like people hold many archetypes. We usually, when you're looking into your archetypal makeup, what's naturally active within you, there's usually at least 2 to 3 kind of naturally active, and then you could hone more archetypes. So it's all part of your personality structure, but it's also part of the collective unconscious. It's something that was obviously very important to the work of Carl Jung. So I love that as I'm teaching about Melusine and her aspects and aiding my students to develop a relationship with those aspects, they're also getting in touch with their relationship to that archetypal energy that aspect is related to. So when we study the maiden, you're going to be also looking at, what is my relationship to the maiden archetype? What is my relationship to the creatrix archetype when we're studying the creatrix? To the mother archetype when we're studying the mother? To the priestess archetype when we're studying the priestess? So I think it's a very beautiful way to build not only a relationship with Melusine, but get to know yourself a little bit better. And I was so grateful for how the first round of the Melusine Mysteries went last year. And I'm delighted to be welcoming in a new class of students. So enrollment is open through Saturday, March 28th, 2026 for this year's cohort of students. And I will of course link the page with all of the information. And if you wanted to enroll pay in full, you could just go to that page and purchase it. And then I would send you out all the materials. And if you wanted a payment plan, you would need to email me. I'll also link my email address in the description box below. And you could also email me with any questions pertaining to the class so we could determine if it's right for you. Payment plans will be through PayPal, and it would be, that price cut into 7, and you would pay over the 7 months. And let's get into who this class might be right for now. So obviously, the most obvious answer to that question is the class is right for you if you have always felt drawn to Melusine as a goddess, as a fairy queen, as a legendary figure. If you found interest in her story and wanted to dive deeper, get to know this watery goddess a little bit better, this class is definitely right for you. If you're drawn to the Avalonian sphere in any way and you wanted to deepen into the fairy queen, mermaid, water magic energy within Avalon, this class would probably be a good fit. And if you just are interested in fairy queens, wanting to get to know fairy queens better, obviously this is going to be a deep dive into a very powerful fairy queen goddess. And finally, I'd also say if you're really, really interested in French folklore, because the class is structured around the oldest written account we have of Melusine's legend, which comes from Jean d'Arras in the 1390s. And it is the oldest French account of her legend, the oldest written account of her legend. Of course, there are also Germanic accounts we do touch upon, but the main structure is focused on the Jean d'Arras telling. It is also really a very in-depth telling. It is novel length when you read the translation, and it has all these side quests with Melusine's sons and their crusades and what have you. But that's where the structure is coming from with that particular oldest account, because I love going back to the oldest written source we have and then peeling back the layers to reveal that even though she's being written as this fairy queen, this Avalonian fairy woman who marries a human man and bestows sovereignty and blessings upon him and bears him 10 sons, peel back the layers, and that's when we start to see the goddess within all of that. And of course, fairy queens, mermaid queens, they can also be goddesses. I don't think that to call them fairy is necessarily demotion. I think they always were fairy. As a little side note, some people like to say that, oh, well, they're just called fairy because they wanted to demote them, but still write about them in the Christian period, because basically all Celtic texts come from the Christian period. But really, I think it's more complex than that. I view it, in my personal viewpoint and perspective, as a priestess to Avalonian fairy queens, as they were always fairy. That was always something that they were. They were always very liminal and misty and transformative, but they just kind of removed the goddess part, but that part was there. And it's really obvious to see when we see a lot of iconography throughout these tales. And then other fairy queens, we have, actual places attached to them and places where we think they're worshipped. But it's all very misty, all very liminal, and all very read between the lines, because the ancient Celts practiced their religion by memorizing and orally telling their stories. So the written accounts we have are either written accounts from Romans who hated them that were written when they were practicing this, or written accounts from much, much later where we have to read between the lines of the actual, legends and mythology. So that's what I've done. I've kind of peeled back the layers, because obviously the Jean d'Arras telling has a lot of that Christian overtone to it. When we peel back the layers, what is within? And there's a lot within. And yeah, so if you are really interested in this kind of liminal misty space, in connecting deeper with Avalon, in learning about Melusine as this very magical fairy queen and mermaid goddess, and if you're interested in some folklore tied to France, because I've always been a big lover of French folklore and legend and French language. I studied French for 4 years, from middle school all the way through high school. So that's actually how I first discovered Melusine and her legend. Yeah. So if that is of interest to you, this is going to be a deep dive, and you're going to learn to build a devotional relationship with her and hopefully get to know yourself a bit better. So again, to finish up my little discussion of that, I am going to go ahead and link all that down below, and you can look deeper into that. So in a moment, I'm going to pull up my poem and read that to you as well. Okay, so sorry, there's a little jump cut, but I had to pull up my laptop. So I'm going to read to you my poem, Living in Devotion to the Great Goddess Melusine. So, living in devotion to the Great Goddess Melusine, a call to my beloved Melusine. O great ancestress of the lands and the waters, O fairy queen who tended the fountain of thirst, O mermaid goddess who resided in the forest, O great goddess Melusine, O beauteous fairy queen who built Lusignan, O great Mother Melusine, O Mother of royal bloodlines, O Mother of half-fairy children, O great Lady of the Fountain Melusine, O Melusine, Tester of Knights, O great Creatrix Melusine, O Mermaid Goddess of Avalon, O great Celtic Venusian Fairy Queen, O Great Goddess Melusine, O Great Goddess, who is all of this and so much more, I call out the name Melusine with boundless love. An affirmation of the power of Melusine's day. Saturday, day that is ruled by Saturn. Saturday, day of the siren Melusine. Saturday, day of delving into the watery depths. A call to the energy of the serpentine siren. Great Goddess Melusine, great goddess whose mermaid tail is often that of a serpent. Great Goddess Melusine, can teach me the occult wisdom of the serpentine siren. The divine feminine energy and sacred sexuality makes the reverence of the serpentine siren a powerful path, which the Avalonian water priestess hath. The serpentine siren makes me feel overcome with joy. This joy I feel as I work to embrace the serpentine siren in all the ways that I know I truly will last. With Great Goddess Melusine leading the path. Scrying the mirror of the soul. With the Mermaid Goddess of Avalon as my guide, I will learn how not to hide from the truths of my shadow. Instead, I will confront the pain. I will learn the beauty of soul alchemy, tending to the trauma, which is more than just internal drama. Seeing the light in the darkness of the night, Great Goddess Melusine takes my hand, assuring me that I have a safe space to land. The Builder Fairy has helped me to create a place of potent grace, a still and quiet space within to find new aspects of myself. Melusine guides me in the work of soothing my soul, which will allow me to feel well and truly whole. A show of gratitude to Melusine, my divine ancestress. Bowing my head in reverence, I am overcome by the feelings of gratitude. The power of Melusine's gentle attitude provides guidance, which allows for the severance of all that no longer serves me. With deep love and true emotion, I sip on the waters of Melusine's potion. The chalice is overflowed with utter devotion. I share the wisdom of the Great Goddess Melusine. I write about her and teach her mysteries. I share my love for Melusine with the world. Truly an act of pure devotion and endless love, I am beyond grateful to be a priestess of Melusine. So grateful that Melusine chose me, for this is what has set my mermaid soul free. So I do hope that you enjoyed that poem as well. And I do think it's a great example of my own relationship with Melusine and the love and devotion with which my class was created. So again, if you're interested, please go ahead and click the link in the description to learn more about the class, enroll if you want to pay in full, email me if you want a payment plan, and email me if you have any questions or want to just talk a little bit about other reasons why you think this class might be right for you if you're uncertain at all. So thank you so much and have a very wonderful day.